The largest hospital in Gaza is in crisis as the Israeli assault continues. The head of the World Health Organization, WHO, reports that the hospital has ceased to function and fatalities among patients are rising. Israeli forces have blockaded hospitals in the north of the Palestinian enclave, making it difficult for medical staff to care for those inside. At the Al-Shifa complex, 3 newborns have already died, and more are at risk due to power outages caused by the intense fighting nearby. The situation is dire and perilous, with constant gunfire and bombing exacerbating the already critical circumstances. Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus of the WHO has called for an immediate ceasefire, stating that hospitals should be safe havens, not scenes of death and devastation. Israel claims that it is targeting Palestinian Hamas militants who launched deadly attacks in southern Israel. The Israeli military response has prompted anger and protests around the world, with demands for a ceasefire. The Biden administration has pushed Israel to allow pauses in the fighting for civilians to flee and for aid to come in. President Joe Biden has called for the release of all hostages held by Hamas, including a 3-year-old American citizens. Babies at risk, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Israel's military offered to evacuate newborn babies and provided fuel for Shifa Hospital. Hamas denied refusing the fuel and stated that the amount offered was insufficient to operate the hospital's generators for more than half an hour. Of the 45 babies in incubators at Shifa, 3 have already died. The bombing of the building forced premature babies to be placed on ordinary beds, with limited power to warm the air conditioning. Al-Quds, the second-largest hospital in Gaza, is also out of service. Staff are struggling to care for patients with limited medicine, food, and water. The Palestinian Red Crescent reported that Al-Quds Hospital has been cut off from the world for the past week, with no access for aid or supplies. Hundreds of thousands of people worldwide have protested, demanding a ceasefire in response to Israel's military actions. The conflict has raised fears of a broader conflagration. Hezbollah in Lebanon, backed by Iran like Hamas, has engaged in missile attacks with Israel. Iran-backed groups in Iraq and Syria have also launched attacks on U.S. forces. The United States conducted airstrikes in Syria against Iran-aligned groups as a response to these attacks.